Have you ever wondered how to centralize all your important links in a way that truly reflects your unique brand? If so, you're about to discover a game changer. Linktree has become a go-to for many for consolidating their digital footprints. But what if we could take it a step further? In this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can create a Linktree style hub directly on your WordPress website. This method not only elevates your brand's identity, but also drives valuable traffic to your site, enhancing your SEO and keeping your audience engaged with your content for longer. So let's get started. So the page you're looking at right now is my Linktree page that houses all the links I want my audience to navigate to. So when I'm creating, for example, social media posts, and I'm talking about my brochure or the quiz, they will click the link in the bio and it will take them to here, and then they can select which one of interest. The link for this page is usually what we then include in our Instagram bio because Instagram doesn't allow us to put direct links in our post. But the great thing is that you can create this type of page to direct anyone to, including your students, for a specific, maybe a list of course materials. So think beyond the simple Instagram bio. There's so much more you could do by creating these types of pages. Okay, now this is the page we want to replica on our WordPress website. We're going to try and make it as close as possible, as identical as possible, and but have it all on our WordPress website. So this is what it looks like. You can see my profile image, my title, a little abbreviation of what I offer, maybe what I do on Instagram, and then all these links. So there's approximately 6 links. And as you can see with each button, there's an image and then there's a brief description. And you can see that for all 6. And then what happens when you click on this, it takes you direct to the source. So you've also got to link those. And at the bottom, then we have our social media platforms. So this is what we are going to create. The only thing that will be slightly different is that we won't have the subscribe because this is going to be specific on our WordPress website. So let's get started and get over to WordPress. Okay, great. Now we're on the back end of our WordPress website. So this is where you have all your plugins, all your settings. We can customize the look and feel, include menus and so forth. But the first thing we need to do, you need to do to create this particular page is that we're going to use a plugin called Elementor. So what you want to do is scroll down on the left-hand side and you want to find plugins. When you hover over it, you can then go straight to add new because if you don't have Elementor, we need to add a new plugin. We need to add it. So I've clicked on that. Then you go into a section where it says search for plugins, search plugins, and you're just going to type in Elementor. And what will come up is that you'll have a free version and there's a pro version. We can actually create this Linktree style hub using the free version. That's exactly what I'm going to show you today. And all you're going to do is click on it. I've already got it downloaded, so that's why it's not available for me to install. Once you click on it and activate it, then it sits within your plugins and then you're good to go. The next thing you're going to do is on the left hand side, you want to now create a page. So again, we're just hovering over it and then I'm going to click on add new. And this is where we're going to actually have the page for our Linktree version on WordPress. And then you want to give this page a name. So this is the name that's associated within the URL. So your web address, the link that you're going to either put into your bio link on Instagram. So if you want to, just for this tutorial, I'm going to call it Instagram Linktree. But this could easily be resources, whatever title you want to give it, so that you remember it and it's shareable. So I've given it a title. What I want to then do is edit in Elementor because I'm ready to go straight in. So this is how your page will look. So if you've already got a WordPress website and you've included your menu at the top and you've got your footer menu, it will appear here along with the title of the page. And these are the things that we technically want to remove because we want this page just to be those links that direct them to our freebies, our brochures, our course material. We don't want any other distractions. So I'm going to show you exactly how to remove all of this as well. But first and foremost, what I want to show you is how to globalize and put in some of your branding and the fonts that you want to use now so that when we start customizing it, we're not having to fiddle around with each section. So in order to do that with Elementor, let me show you around quickly. There are a few key areas that you need to be aware of. You can see that we're here in elements. Elements are all the things are like the widgets that we're going to put in onto our page, like our text, our image, our columns, our spacing, our dividers. In globals, when it comes to Elementor, is for those that are using the Elementor Pro. So there'll be global features. So that we're not really going to use. But the key other areas are up here, the three lines, which are called hamburger lines, and also these nine dots. So I'll show you that a little bit later. But the first one I want to show you is here. If we click on these three lines, in our settings, this is where we're going to focus on within the site settings. So this is where we're going to create our global brand and select our fonts in advance. So all you're going to do is click in global colors. I've already created mine. So all you need to do, and what you will see if you've never created any fonts or global colors, you need to add color. Really that simple. You can see two sets here. They're exactly the same, really. And I created it just to kind of go over it where you can customize it. So the first one that you will see is the primary, secondary text. This is what Elemental provides, and then you just customize it. And then if you want to have another set of colors, you can then add colors and then give them titles. So this is what you see here. Give them titles, literally just stating what the colors are as well. And the DEA is Developing Educators Academy. So again, you can abbreviate your company. So I wanted to show you that. So all that happens to be able to put in your branding colors that you'd click on add color, you would give it a title, and then you want to then select this where it has the cross over it, and then you want to either use this color picker, then you can select it so you can move this around. If you don't really have a specific color but you have a range, select it that way. Or if you have the code, the hex code of your for your branding, you can. If you've got the RGBA code or the HSL code, you can select these and then enter them that way. But I usually go with hex code and then you enter that in. Once you've entered that in, you can then click out of it and then and that's it, it's saved automatically. And that's how you enter all your branding colors. And then once that's all done and then you update, make sure that you update. When we start working on our page, then we can go to our global, which I'll show you, and then you can just select from there. So I'm not gonna keep this one because that's not part of my branding colors. So I'm gonna delete that. And it's really as simple as that. I'm going to do a quick update and then we just want to come out and I want to show you how to do the fonts. So you go to global fonts. Again, what will happen is that Elementor will have these already and then all you're going to do is click in, so you're editing it, and then you're going to select your font. So if you click in here, there'll be a selection of fonts that you can select from. So there's quite a bit. And then once you've got your family fonts, then what you can do is go into the weight, the transform, and the style. And these will be, for example, as we start selecting some of these fonts, you can see here, primary, we're in this box at the moment. So let's say if we went to weight, and we wanted to change from 700 bold, and we wanted it to be really light, we can do that and then it changes it. So that's how it all works really. So you can play around with it. So primary is obviously primary. It's the main header that you're going to use. Secondary is for subheading and text will be your normal text. So it will be like your size, maybe 14 that you're going to use. But you can customize this whichever way you want. So this is the reason why we're doing this now. Or you will do this before you create your page. So that's how that works. I'm not going to change anything on here because I've already set this up previously, and then we're going to come out of that. So you would have set up your global colors, your global fonts. You can also look at the theme style. So your typography again is kind of related to fonts. So you can click in here, and this is where if you're going to bold certain elements, certain texts, you can bold them. So again, we can customize it. So every particular piece of text that you bold, it could be a particular color. Um, and you can change it here. You can manage your global colors and so forth. And then also you can, if you want, if you know your web page is going to be quite spacious, so the text space is going to be quite wide, you can set them all here as well. And that's how all of this works. You can also set the color of any links. So if you're linking outside of your web page and you want the links to stand out, we can also change that. So remember, if you go by this, which is the globe, this will be the global settings, the global colors that you've already pre set, or you can go straight to the color palette. And then the same with your typography. So this will be your font. So you can literally create the colors of what it looks like when you link. So if I go into here and I already set it, so I want mine to be kind of black. And then you can go into here and you can set what kind of style. So let's say, for example, every time I do a link, I want my links to be bold. Well, not bold. I want my links to be capitalized. I could do that. I can set it. Or maybe I want my links to be italic. So when it's literally a link, it will be italic so it stands out. And you can kind of do all that. You can change the size of it as well. So that's how it all appears. So I'm just going to just change that so we don't so it doesn't mess up my style. And then you update it. So if we go back, these are settings, and then again you can customize how you want your buttons. Again, we're not creating all this stuff from scratch. So again, our typography is to do with our font. I've already got my font styles, and I can have a shadow around the button. I'll show you how we're going to do that actually for what we're creating for our buttons on Linktree, our Linktree version. And then the text inside your button, you can again select from your global colors, or you can select a palette, but mine's already set. So, and that's how it works. So you can select from here. It makes your life so much more easier as well. Let me just go back, go to the top, and then you've got all these other areas. I say for now, leave it as simple as that so that your buttons are customized. And also with your background type. So this will be like your background, technically your background of your button. So if I click here, classic, and then go, you can have it radiant and gradient if you want, or you can click here, and then let's say I actually want my button color to be keep it white because the text will be kind of black, but we can customize that. But the main thing here is just showing you how you can kind of globalize this, so you can set it and leave it, and then it's done. So now what I want to walk you through is how to remove all this. We just want a blank page. We don't want the menu at the top or the footer. The reason why we don't want them, because we don't want distractions, especially the menu at the top. We don't want our audience going elsewhere. There's already going to be quite a few links on this page. So we want to remove that, and we also want to remove the title of the page. We don't need that on. In order to do this, we're going to click on Site Settings. Then we want to go to Hello Theme Header. So I just want to talk to you what these two are. So this will be based on your header and your footer. The Hello theme title is a theme that I'm using for my WordPress website. So yours might say something slightly different, but as long as it says header and footer, that's the area that you're going to go into. So we're going to click into that. And you can already see that the menu is showing. So all we're going to do is toggle this off, and that's removed. We're going to come out of the header. We're going to go to the footer. We're going to remove the menu, so the footer menu, as well as the copyright. So that's been removed. We're now going to come out of that. So in order for us to remove the title of this page, we first of all need to come out of site settings. Then we're going to go down to the gear icon at the bottom. And as you can see, that's the name of the page. We don't want to remove that because that's the title of the page. That's fine, but we need to go towards the bottom and we need to hide it. And now you can see, just going to update it, and that's all done. So now we're ready to start creating our page. It's a blank slate. Just a quick reminder, we're going to go back and look at what our Linktree page looks like and how we're going to replicate this. So this is what we're going to replicate. So we've got our profile image, we've got our title, which is going to be a header, font, now you know what they are. This will be our normal text. Then we're going to create these buttons with images and text. So let's go back to our page. So there are a few key things that I want to do straight away. I want to set the background for this page before I start adding elements to it. So a quick reminder, for us to set our background, we're going to go to these three lines. We want to go to our site settings. We want to scroll down into background. Remember, we've already set our global colors. So I'm going to click background type, click classic, click the globe, and click the color. So there are two areas you need to be aware of. There's the normal background color, which would be for like your desktop and tablet, and then there's your mobile browser. So that's what I've set for both. So if you want it to look slightly different, you can adapt that. So I've now done the background, so I'm really happy with that. The next thing that I want to do is start adding elements. So we're going to go to our page, close the site setting, again, save. And now we have where we can start customizing. So I want to show you this. So this is a new section that I want to show you with these features. You might not have all of them because I've got a few settings on here. But this is for our premium add-ons. We don't have that because we've got the free version of Elementor. This is where we're going to add our columns. So our main container that's going to sit all our elements in. This is where if we create any templates, we can go and add our own customized templates. And this is AI related. So what we want to do, your key focus in this is this button, the circle with the plus. So we're going to click here. And what we're going to focus on, there's two boxes, two layouts. There's Flexbox and Grid. We're going to focus on Flexbox. So once you click this, it gives you all these structures. So you can see our singular column with the text going down, one going to the right, double, and so forth. So what we want to do is we're going to use all these different structures for this layout. So reminder, with our link tree, our hub, we've got a profile image, we've got text, header text, and then we've got normal text. So what I want to do is for us to create this profile, if we only use one container, when we put in our image element, it will spread out and image will fill this whole container. So what we need to be smart about is that we want the profile image to be in the center. So we technically need a container that has three columns. So I'm going to pick this one. And then what you'll see with these three columns is that the center one is quite large. So we want to make this so much more smaller. So there's several ways of doing this. I want to show you just so that you're aware. When we include containers in Elementor, what happens is that as it highlights, because it's a blue background, it's highlighted in pink purple. And then on the left-hand side is where you can edit your container. These are all the things that you can do with your container. So what we want to do or not do is make sure, actually what we want to do is make sure that we centralize this. We want all our containers in the center. So as it's already highlighted, all we do is go to layout and we can see that it's Flexbox. So this is the area that we can change it up. If you want to change it to grid, you can. And then also you can make it content width. So it can be like a box, so it's not filling the whole page, or you can have it complete and have a full width of the page, which we don't really want. We want it to be boxed because what happens, you can't see anything in there if I show you a preview because there's no content in there. It'll take up the full page. So we just want it to be boxed for this particular purpose. And then also what you can see is the width of the box. So that's fine with me. And then the height of the box. We're going to leave everything as is as we start putting all our elements in. But the main thing that we want to do is we want to actually change the size of this central box because it's too large. And there's several things that you may end up seeing. What I don't want you to do is to actually start manipulating this yourself. Because let's say, for example, we do this, and you can see now this container is not centralized. We wanted to leave that alone. We're actually going to use equations and adjust it in a different way. So I'm just going to go back out and just remove that. So that goes back. So if you ever want to undo something, all you're going to do is click at the bottom where it says history and it will take you to here and then you can go back a few steps. Okay, so what I want to show you is how we are going to customize the size of these boxes. So let's start with the furthest one away. So you can see here it's 25. I want to make this 50. It doesn't actually have to come up to 100. It's really random. And it's all percentage, but okay, say 50. And then both are, all three are 50, but technically we want this smaller. So we're going to go to the central one, and I want this actually to be about 20. And that's about right for the our profile picture. We don't want it to take over the page. So I'm really happy with that. And then what I'm going to do is actually add the image element. So in order to add an image or add any element to boxes or containers, you click on these 9 dots and then you want to find your image widget and then drag it into the box. These other boxes on the side are not going to have anything in it. Because they're not going to have anything in it, it will actually look blank. So it won't look like boxes at all once it's been published. And that's all I want to do. The focus will be the profile photo. I'm now going to add the profile photo. In order to create your own version here with this circle, you can use Canva. So when you go into Canva, let's say you pick an Instagram 1080 by 80, 1080 by 80 dimension. You then click to select or look for elements, so circle with a frame, and then you add your picture, drop your picture into that circle to the frame, and then download it as a PNG transparent. So all we have is the shape, and then you come upload it into your WordPress website. So the way it will work is that you click into your image box, you click onto the left hand side, choose your image, and if you don't have your image already in your library, media library, you click on uploads, and then you click on select file and it'll take you to your desktop. But I already know I have mine in there, so all I'm going to do is scroll down and look for my profile image here and select. Perfect. So it's almost, it's all coming together. The next thing that we want to do is add in our text. So what I want to create is this, but I'm actually going to create one that has my name because this, when people click on this in Instagram, they know who they're going to. But let's say I use this for something else, I need my name. So I'm actually going to have two headers and then I'm going to have a normal text. So go back to here. In order to create the next container, because this container has three columns, we don't want the text to have three columns. We want it to be in one container. So all we're going to do is click Flexbox, click one container, and this is where we're going to drop the text widgets. So you're going to click on those three dots or the nine dots. We're going to type in text, and what it will allow us, it will show us what's free. Anything that doesn't have PA in it, so it's not premium, advanced, or add-ons, we're going to only able to use these three. So the main one I'm going to use first is text header, which is great. So that's the larger size. And then I'm going to go back, and what I want to do is click text again, and it's going to be text editor. Remember, I said I wanted two headers, right? So instead of me going back to add it, I can simply click on this particular box, right click it, and then duplicate it, and then it will set it right in the same space. So you could do it that way, or go to elements and type in text and drag it in. So what we've got here is great, but it's black. We can't read it, and it's not central. So now what we want to do is go into each box that we want to customize. So we want it to be white and we want it to be central. You click in each box and then go to style, go to text color. So you can go to global because we've set it previously, and go to white, and then I'm going to centralize it. And I could have done it for the first one and then duplicated it, but hey. And then we're going to do the same with another one, center, text color, and then the same with this one, style, text color, central. And also what I want to do, I actually want to change the text style of the text editor. The normal one is too bold for my liking. So in order to change that whilst we're still editing this container, we're going to go to typography, and it's already on default, but I want to change the weight because at the moment it's too bold. I want to change it to normal, and then instantly we've changed it. I also want to change the size of the text because remember by default it's already set. So if I now start playing around in here or toggling with this, it automatically changes. So I'm gonna just type in 20, and I know 20 to me is too big, and I'm gonna maybe make it about 15. So that is all set. So I've technically done the first half of what I want to do for my link hub. So now that's technically done. I've done the profile image. We've added the layers of text. So now what we want to do, going back, we want to create these buttons before we start styling. So before I create these buttons, what I want to do is make sure I've got some space between between the text. So if we just have a quick preview of the page, that's what it looks like. And I want a little bit of space before we add our button. So what we can do is we can actually just find an element or widget and add it directly underneath. So the way it works, we go to our nine dots, and we're going to type in space or spacer. and then we're going to drag it right underneath. So be very mindful where you're placing, right underneath, and then you can see the space there, and we can toggle the space using the toggle, or we can go and base it on numbers, and we'll do it like that. And the next thing I want to do is add another element. Now we're gonna add our box, which is technically our button. So this is where you're going to add a image box. We want an image and a box. So we can have the image and we can have in the box text. So in order to do that, we're going to go to those 9 dots again and type in image. And then what you now see, we've got image and image box. And remember, image was a solo image, and the image box gives us those two features actually come out of that. So what you're just seeing, I dropped that element or that widget at the top, and I want to drop it at the bottom of the space. So I'm going to just do that, and I just got to be very mindful. So remember, this is the space, and this is the bottom of the space. So now what you can see, this is the image box, right? But it doesn't look like what we want to create. We want this image to go to the left and we want the text to go to the right. So in order to do that, what you want to do is go to style and image in whilst you're in the box element of the image box container, you want to change the image position and we want it to be to the left. Great, right? And then you can also align the text. So the text is fine as it is. We technically want it to the left, but if you wanted it to be central, you can centralize it. If you want to justify it, you can also do that. So I want it to the left. And then you can also do image spacer. So if you, at the moment it's on 15, which is fine, but let's say if you wanted more space between the text and the image, you can also do that. And then you can also, just going to say it back up, you can also have container space. So where you've got your text, if you want to distribute the text better so that you're not going to have all this wasted space at the bottom, you can do that and actually like it like this. The next thing that I want to do is actually change the background color of this container. So at the moment, it's blended in too well with the blue background and we want it peach. So remember, our button is peach. So we want to create that color. So in order to change the color for this particular part of the button, we need to go to advanced, and in advance, there's quite a few things going on. So I'm going to just close layout. We want to scroll to background. We want to scroll down. We're going to click on classic. Then I'm going to click global because I'd already set my color. And now the background is perfect as we need it to be. The other thing that I want to do is give this particular button a border so it stands out. And I want to give it a bit of a shadow. So in order to do that, we're just going to close background. We're going to click on border just towards the bottom. Just want to scroll to it. And then we've got border type. We want to give it a solid line. And then we want to give the border a color. So I'm going to pick one of my global colors. It will be blue. It won't be as visible now, but it will stand out, especially with the peach based background of the button. Now what I want to do is also do a few things. I want to add a radius. So a radius is going to make this button give it kind of like a shape so it doesn't look like just a box. So if we go to radius, there's a few things to be aware of with these sections. Anytime you have this highlighted in gray, it means that all the values are linked together. So if we type in a number here, let's say 20, it'll be 20 across. But if we unclick that, there will be individuals. So now if I wanted to put the top, give the top 10, it curves the radius of it as a 10, it would just be the top. So I just want you to be aware of that. But I actually want this to all be together so it's all seamless. So I'm going to click one of the boxes and put 20. And now that full button is 20. You can see the difference. So let me just show you. Can you see the only thing that's getting in its way is the image. So we're going to make the image a bit smaller. But you can already see it all coming together. And then another thing I want to do is give it a shadow so it stands out a bit better. So in order to do that, I'm going to go down to shadow, select the pencil. We're going to first of all give it a color. I want to give it a black color. And then what we can do is use this to just adjust. Again, you only slightly see it when we do a preview. So I'm going to take it to about a 5. And I might do the same for vertical. And now let's see if you can see it. See, you can see it. It's almost like a blurred background, but I just want it to pop a little bit more. So that's why I've added it. You don't need it to be as strong as that. You don't even need to have that if you don't want to. So what I might do, it's a bit strong. I might just take it to about a 3. And it's really blurred. So I might just take down the blur. So it's a bit more solid. So let's have a quick look at that. A bit better. So the main thing now is that image box is annoying. So I've got to adjust the image box so it fits in to our button that we've created. So in order to do that, we need to find the image box. So if we go to content, here is the image box. At the moment, it's talking about resolution, but the main thing is the size of the image. So I'm actually going to use thumbnail size. I'm going to scroll down. So this will kind of technically change the size of it. And also it means that I can then go into style and I don't want the box, I want image. Go to image and this is where I can adjust it as well. So you can see here the image gets smaller and that's what I want because I actually don't want this button to be that large. But bear in mind, the smaller you make the image, the larger the text is. So you may need to go and customize that as well. Um, so I wanted you to kind of be aware of that. And then we can also change the radius of the image that we've done with the box. So if we click on these arrows and start off very slowly, you can start seeing, can you see the shape? So now it appears it fits that button better than it did before. I'm not going to overdo it because it doesn't look like it's a great style for it. So I'm going to have it to about there. I need to give some space around this. At the moment, it's taking up the whole space of this button and I want it to sit in the button. So what I want to do is give this image box some padding because it's too close to the edge. So in order to do that, we're going to go to advanced and then you can see where we are with padding. So what I might do is keep it all together and just type in a number. And then straight away I can see it's given some good padding. And if I want to just go and see how that looks, and that's just about right. What I would probably want to do is adjust the radius of this image because it doesn't fit too well with the button. So in order to do that, what I need to do is first of all, I want to go back to just look at what the radius of the box is. Because so then that way I can make sure that it's about the same. So to check the radius of the box, I need to go to advanced. I want to just minimize layout and we need to go all the way to border. Remember, that's where we set the radius of this box. So the radius of the box, it says it's 20. So I want to bear that in mind when it comes to the image. I'm going to keep it the same. So now I want to go to style. I want to now go to the image and the radius is 26. So that's why it looks a little bit funny. So now it's the same. Can you see the difference? Now we've just made sure that the box and the button has the same radius. So it's all in tune with each other. And also what you will notice as well, remember I said the text looks like it's slightly too big now. So all we're going to do to change that is you've got your box. So we know it's not image. So anything relation to the box or the content, which is what we're working on. The content is the things like the text. And then we've got the title, so you can see the difference is the header. And then you've got the description, which is in here, the Lauren Epsom. So what we want to do is actually go to typography and I want to change the size. So I think our header was 35 from default. So all I'm going to do is just make it slightly smaller. I don't need it to appear so big. And then I want to do the same when it comes to the description. I want to make the description box slightly smaller. So again, typography, we're now in a description box and just to scroll into it, it's a little bit fiddly, but let's go back and go up, description. So I think, did I say 15? It was initially 15. So I might just take it down a little bit. So that's how that looks. So what I want to do, let's do the first box. I want to do, it's download the brochure. I'm going to just highlight the text and I know the image that I've got to insert in there. So what I need to do, and as you can see, there's a big difference with the buttons. With this on WordPress, it gives you a header as well as main text. So the header might be what I'm going to grab from Linktree, and this might be more descriptive. But first of all, let's do the image. So we want to scroll to the top to find the image container, go to content, click image, and I know with this one is my brochure. So I've already uploaded it and it's titled brochure. So it's easier to find. Now you can see that's in there. Also, what I want to do is give this image a border so it really pops. So in order to give it a border, we're going to go to style. And what we're going to then do is go to image and we've got border type. So default is none. We're going to make it solid. We're going to have just 1%, as you can see. The color is already by default, but if I wanted to just be sure that it was black, I can do that. So let's have a quick look. You see how that looks? So that's how it looks at the moment. In comparison to our link tree, is obviously much bigger, but we can adjust the size. But for now, let's just leave it as it is. So what I want to do now is actually add all the text from the top to here to here. I've already grabbed the text initially for this button, so let's work there first. So we're going to go to content. We're going to go down. We've got title and description. We're just going to paste and you can see that straight away. So again, you can adjust that. If you want it to all appear on one line, then just edit your text. I'm going to put some information in here and I'll do that all at the end. You don't need to see me do that. Well, that's that. And then also what we want to do is link this. The whole idea of this link tree is that we want it to link to where they can get the brochure, link to where they can subscribe for our podcast and so forth. So in order to do that, we do that within this section where we've changed the title. And if you scroll down, you can see where it says paste URL or type. Type, you can do that, or you can just paste in there as well. And you can also link it to other pages. So let's say you once they click on this, if you want them to this page to link to the next page in a sense of they don't have several tabs opening, you could do that, or you can select it so that it opens a new window. I want it to open a new window because I want them to still have Linktree open and then take them to the brochure. And that's where you can set it. And of course, you want to type in your URL. So that's how that works. So now let's customize the rest of this lot. So first of all, I know this section, I don't have it on my link tree, but this is just simply my name. And then next text is from Linktree. So I'm just going to copy that. So this is my role, what I do, who I am technically. And then you can see as we copy that in, it changes the text to kind of default to the header. Actually, what you've got to do with this one, because it's a text editor, we're going to go back to the content. We're going to actually click in this box. We can actually change it because at the moment it's automatically header 2. And we technically just want it to be a paragraph. Straight away you can see that smaller and then it sets it as a paragraph based on the global setting. So now if we go to style and we want to customize this and change the size, we can do that now. So that's how that works. So let's have a quick look what we've done so far. So we can see we've got our profile image, we've got your name, your title, what it is that you do, who you serve, and then you've got your first box or button. And then we can see that space is quite a bit. I actually don't think I want that space now. So we're going to click into that box. I can actually make this space so much more smaller so that it goes to about 10. And we can actually look and see if that's any better. And I actually don't think the space is needed. So I'm going to go to that space that we had and just hover over it and then I delete it. And then what we can do is have a look at what that looks like. Natural space which is fine. So another thing that I want to do is actually change this box size. It's thick, and I want it so much more smaller. So what we're going to do to make it so much more smaller is click into this container, and we're going to fiddle it around with the actual, let's close this. We're going to fiddle around with the style. We're going to adjust space just to make sure that it works for us. So for example, we've got the text so that it's a bit closer. We've got the content space so it's the text is a bit closer. We can go to the image so we can make it smaller. So this is technically what I want to do because it was just too big. So now we can see what we're doing here. So it means that we can adjust the text. But if we now have a look at it, it looks a bit better, right? And the main thing that I want to do actually at the moment is just change the size of the text because it's way too large now that we have the images. So I'm just going to make it smaller. And then I'm going to go to the description and make that smaller as well. So we can see that, and then we can also adjust how we want this all to look in the box that we've got, all these containers that we've got. So the reason why I'm fiddling around with this first, because we're gonna, once we're happy with it, we're gonna duplicate it. Let's say we want to go to style, and we already know where the image is of the box, where the text is. So this is where we can, again, if we want to adjust how the text or how close the text sits, and we can also adjust the container space of where how we distribute how the text sits. So I'm actually really happy with that for now. So I'm going to see what that looks like. So that goes right across. So what I want to do, because I feel like this button is a bit too wide, I'm actually going to add a container with 3 columns so that we can centralize this button and make it smaller. So we're going to go just below and go down, click Flexibox. I want 3 column container, and I'm actually wanting to add this here. So in order to do that, first and foremost, I want this to be, I can play around with this and I'll show you exactly how far I want the button. And then I can adjust this one and take it down to maybe about 10. And the same with this box. This time just type in 10. So again, it gives us a bit more space, but I just want this button a bit smaller. So all I'm going to do, so this is the way I'm going to work it, is grab this element and drag it in here. And if we now preview, so much better. It was taking too much page. So I'm really happy that I've done that. So that's a great way to just adjust the width of an element that's sitting in a column by itself. And this is why we created the profile in a 3 column container as well. So now that we've done that, I just want to make sure that anything, its previous one, it's not sitting anywhere, so we're not wasting any containers. I'm really happy with that. And so what I want to do is duplicate this now. So remember on our link tree, there's about 6 containers or 6 buttons. So all we're going to do is click on that, not click yet, just hover over it, right click, duplicate. Or you can also see there's a way that you can duplicate it by clicking the plus and D sign. Duplicate, and then you can. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we've got our 6 buttons, and all you're going to do is just customize each button. So the next thing that we want to do is add our social media buttons. So here they are on Linktree. Hopefully you can see it just there. It's not going to look exactly the same, but I'll show you how you can add icons. So what we want to do is add icons. You can add another container or squeeze them at the bottom, but I don't want it too close to here. So if we want to, what we can do is actually do spacer. I'm going to grab the spacer. Actually, we can't because it's in a column. It's in a 3 column. So what we need to do is click plus Flexibox, single column, and then elements. So we've got that space now. The next thing that we want, depending on how many social media platforms that you're on, I've got here 7. So it's actually not all social media. One is to do a podcast. We've got LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, email, Pinterest, twice actually. And then we've got our Spotify. So what we want to do, actually just going to do 4. And in order to do this, there's a couple of ways where we can add elements. So if you go to here, go to and just have a look and see what's free on the Elementor free version. We've got social icons. If you don't have social icons, you may need to download a plugin for it, but I've got social icons. So these are them, and these are of the colors. So these are like the old colors, and I want to customize this. I don't It doesn't go with my branding, but here you can see there's 3, and then you can add more. So it opens up the container. You can edit it, and you can add, and you can also customize. So all you're going to do, let's say we're going to Facebook. This is the current image that I don't want. I'm going to actually select an image from the icon library. And we know we want it to be Facebook. And on the left hand side, you can see where other places where you can get icons from. But I'm happy with that. Or you can upload any images. So let's say you created your own social icon images on Canva, branded. You can then upload it that way as well. But if we're going to just go by what's on here, we're going to insert it. And then what we want to do is, at the moment it says official color. So nothing changed when we put that in, but I just wanted to show you how to do that. Go to customize. We want to now customize it because we've got our global colors in here. We can customize it. Remember, it's a blue background, so I'm going to have this peach, or I can have it white. And also, I don't like the square version of it. So let's actually go back to primary because you can see it's not standing out whatsoever. So let's say we've got our secondary color, which is white, and we've got our primary color, which is black. Or I can do a secondary color, which is black, and our primary color, which is white. You can see the difference here. And then you can go all the way through. Let's say I don't use Twitter, but let's definitely want YouTube. Let's add another search for Instagram. And again, we are going to customize it. We can put this is where we can put the link to our Instagram account. So again, it all kind of, it's customized and it directs our audience. But what I want to go back to, let's go back to Facebook. Let's just click here if I can. Go to Facebook, scroll down. We've got our primary color, we've got our secondary color. We actually want to change the shape, and I want it to be a circle, and it instantly changes the shape. So now again, this is so much more in line with what I want. And then I can go to YouTube, and again, I can customize that or keep it as it is. The YouTube color doesn't go with my branding, so I'm actually also going to change that. So from color, customize, go to primary color. So if I wanted black, white, I can do it that way, or just make sure that the main one and the secondary is black. Oops. And then I'm going to do the same with Instagram. So all it is that you need to do is go to each section, just close that, go to Instagram, As you can see, I've now added the social media icons and I would have added all the links in there as well. So let's have a quick look and see what it looks like. Great, right? So what I'm going to do is just move up these social media icons because they seem to be a bit low. I may actually not need the spacer. So now what I'm going to do is just customize each button so you can see what it looks like at the end. I just wanted to add a quick update. The page that I showed you on how to change the color background of a page will actually change the color background of all your pages on your website. So instead of going to site settings and scrolling all the way down to background and changing it there, that will globalize it and change the color of all your pages. So instead of us doing that, what we want to go is go into advanced. We want to scroll down, find background. So we're going to select global. And of course, I'm showing you with a blue background, but this will be the best way for you to customize the background so that you haven't changed the global color of all your pages. So that's just a quick update. And here it is, the finished article. So I've added all the text, I've linked to all, I slightly changed the social media platforms. I didn't need YouTube because I had a function here on YouTube. And that's how you create your own link tree. And then once you have finished that, all you're going to do is publish it, update it, publish it. And when you go back to your WordPress website, once all published, you'll see it here. And then you can click view. And then you can grab the URL. So you see the URL just at the top. Grab that, go into your Instagram account and you can place it in your bio. You can share that link with your students if you've got a page full of resources that you don't want necessarily on your website. You can give them that. And that's how you create your own version of Linktree where you can house all your links and drive traffic to your website. If you enjoyed this tutorial and felt that it was really good, it gave you all the information you need, step by step, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, and let me know if there's anything that you think that I missed in this tutorial or that you wish that I covered in more detail.